Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for the week of June 2nd. This week, you start with this water card. It says emotions are at their peak. You have this green man. It says the forces of nature favor you. I would definitely keep an eye on your emotions. I think that it is a good time to, listen to your emotions and follow your emotions, but it's a bad time to, drown in your emotions. And I would just make sure that, of course, take time to process any emotions that you're having or, anything that you're feeling. But it's once you process it, it's time to move forward, right? You have the King of Wands, the Ace of Swords, and the Death card showing up in your first row. This is pretty good. The King of Wands can say it's time for you to be more bold, assertive, confident, really go for what you want in your life. And, today is the day of the new moon. And so this will be published on the 27th, the day after the new moon. But, the new moon energy lasts for a while. So a lot of you could be, getting started on something new, or, you could be working on new things just in general in your life. And this is kind of, today, the 26th, even though, I'm publishing it after the 26th, and this is for the week of the 2nd anyway, but, even at that, I think that this new moon is really kicking off all that Aries energy that we have now, Saturn and Neptune. So I think it's a great time to get started, a great time to be confident on the things that you start as well. That's kind of like the secret. If you're going to start something, anything new, that you have to be super confident about it, even if you're faking it, even if it's fake confidence. And you have to take the steps to make things happen. I would also say, what are the steps that you don't normally take? Or, let's say you're starting a business, just as an example, or you're starting a project. It's maybe you always get to a certain point. It's what can you do to take one step? Just one. It doesn't even have to be anything important or big, but what's one step you can take to just get that one step farther than you normally would? The people that do that are going to keep going. The people that don't are going to be stuck. So that's what I would be thinking of with this King of Wands energy. You could also be attracting a very fiery person. We have the Lovers, Two of Cups, Ace of Cups. We have the King and Queen of Pentacles here. So, a lot of you could be attracting a divine counterpart. These two are divine counterparts. I'm really happy to see the King of Wands if you do want love, because the King and Queen of Pentacles, they are good as divine counterparts, but sometimes I feel like they're missing a little bit of that fire, a little bit of the romance, right? But with the King of Wands here, it would kind of say that you are attracting someone who's stable, but also the romance part of things is there. You have the Ace of Swords. All three water signs have the Ace of Swords in their reading, so it's time for water signs to have victories, clearly, and I would be, charging towards things that you want to accomplish, anything. We're in a very different time. I think the problem is that it still feels like we're in a time where things aren't working or things aren't progressing, and we have to, kind of trick ourselves out of that, I think, and because the energy is different today. Right now, whenever you're watching this, because this change is happening on the 26th. And so if you're watching, obviously you're watching it after, and the energy has changed. So we have to be laser-like focused. The Ace of Swords is my card of having laser-like focus on something that you want to accomplish. Could be anything in your life, and really making it happen. But there definitely could be a victory. You show up here as the Death card, so whenever you show up as yourself, kind of puts you in a position of power and strength, allows you to get what you want from the reading, but you are showing up in a strong position, which is great. Kind of says that you are present in the reading as well. I also kind of feel like the sun is coming up. We have the two pillars from the moon back here, and the sun is coming up between those two pillars. So a lot of you could be getting a lot of clarity on things that you haven't been clear on, or you could be getting a lot of answers on things that you haven't been getting answers on, and that could be good. With the Knight of Wands, the King of Wands, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles says it's definitely time to move. Knight of Pentacles is the only knight in the tarot that is not moving. And so the Knight of Pentacles always says to me, he has to go plant seeds in this field. Everything about him, he has these oak leaves on his helmet, and those oak leaves represent knowledge and wisdom. So he has everything he needs to make something a success, but he just has to go and do it instead of thinking about it, and he has to take action. Again, I think a lot of people are feeling this right now. A lot of us, we probably have ideas of new things in life that we would like to do because of the new moon. This is a very significant new moon. We haven't had something like this in a really long time. And because it's not just the moon, it's the fact that Saturn has changed signs, Neptune has changed signs. It's the first new moon we've had since all those retrogrades that we've had since November. It's not the first new moon. We've obviously had one every single month in between, but it's the first one that is kind of like marking the end of all those retrogrades, right? And, there's so much other stuff. Like, we've been dealing with energy in Pisces for many, many years. We've had all these major planets and stuff move through Pisces, and, like Neptune and all the other stuff as well. And for a long time we haven't had a Pisces break because all the major planets, Uranus, Neptune, have moved through there. So it's like kind of like we're finally getting that break, and it's a very significant time. With the Ace of Swords, you have the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is like pick one thing and make it happen. I think it's funny that you also end with the Ace of Cups as well. He is dreaming of like all these good things and bad things that could happen in his life with these cups, right? There are good things and bad things in those cups. But the thing is he just needs to make it happen. Like, he's dreaming of something that he wants, but he's overwhelming himself by thinking about the good stuff and the bad stuff. He like some days he feels good, some days he feels bad. But it's like, when you're not doing something that you're dreaming about, it always is worse than just doing it, right? It's like the thinking about it is the worst part. That's what I always try to tell people, right? Is that just dreaming about something is so much worse than the action that you'll take will be. And so that's what I think you need to tell yourself with that card. With the Death card, you have the Five of Wands. A lot of you could be standing out above the competition. I've said to all water signs that I believe water signs are kind of like the leaders of the future. And you're not leading people as in like you're being some sort of leader. That could be part of it. But you are leading people by being an example. So I think a lot of you could really be standing out above the competition at this point. If there are things that you want that involve competition, I think you need to realize that you will stand out above the competition. So just because there is competition doesn't mean that you shouldn't do something. You probably should, because you will probably stand out. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this fleeting flare path. It says something in your life will be brief, not meant to stay forever. You have this bare tree. It says don't waste your energy or efforts on something that's clearly not bearing fruit. Yeah, I think these two cards are talking about the same thing. If you are working on something right now and it's not producing a result, maybe it's time to do something different or to do something new. That could be very important with these cards. You have the Page of Swords, the King of Pentacles, and the Justice card. Page of Swords is about being curious about new things. And again, definitely, this is a new moon that we're having. It is really telling people, like, now is the time to start working with new things. We also have Uranus and Taurus, and I said at the beginning of Uranus and Taurus that people would need to pay attention to new technologies, new ideas, and all that other stuff. And I think a lot of people are thinking that like AI, for example, is Pluto and Aquarius. But like at the beginning of Uranus and Taurus, I said no, AI is Uranus and Taurus, and or at least part of it. And so we have to look into new things, new ideas, new technologies, new ways of running our lives, all that other stuff. And I would just be playful and curious. You have the King of Pentacles. Yeah, I think it's a really good money time for water signs. I think all three water signs also have the King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles is about true wealth, and that's not just money. That is, everything in your life. But he's getting money for his skills. He has these grapes on his cloak, and the grapes in the tarot represent the fact that he has a skill. They're meant to represent something that's very difficult to grow, but he can grow it well. So it kind of says that he has a skill or skills that are difficult for most people, but he can do well. And those are the things that you should be focusing on. You clearly could be attracting like a very stable person here. I think the two of you could be very stable together. So, this could be a very stable connection. You have the Justice card. Justice is like cause and effect, and I feel for a lot of you that you could be needing to pay attention to cause and effect. One thing I will say is that, again, we have all this energy in Aries. The opposite of Aries is Libra, so we need to also work with opposite energies. I'm a big fan of doing this in astrology. I think all of us should be working with our opposite sign, for example. But on top of that, when we have a bunch of astrology or a bunch of planets going through a sign, we should probably also pay attention to the opposite, right? So with all this energy in Aries, everything that you're doing in your life, you need to pay attention to the evidence. You shouldn't just assume that something is working or is going to work. You have to take action with the Seven of Cups, not just dream. And then you have to look at the result that you're getting. And people who pay attention to just the cold, hard facts at this time, who pay attention to the actual results, are going to be people who are going to be successful. And this also includes things that you don't think are going to work, right? The problem, I think, with the fact that we also had a bunch of Taurus energy over the past few years is that I think people could be thinking you could come, someone could tell you something about something like a technique or an idea that could work in your business, in your love life, in your work life, in whatever. And you might just think to yourself, there's no way that can work. But really, with the energy we have right now, we have to be willing to experiment. We have to be willing to say, I will find out if this works or not. And if we do that, then we'll find a bunch of ways that work. But we shouldn't. The problem is going to be getting too attached to a way that things can work in our life and not opening up to always. With the Page of Swords, you have two cards. You have the Five of Cups and the Three of Wands. Yeah, Three of Wands kind of says, what are you waiting for? So if you want love, by the way, right here, Page of Swords, Lovers, Two of Cups, Ace of Cups, it might be time to make your move. And, the Five of Cups says, that there's two cups behind him. So he's grieving the loss of something in front of him, but there's something much better behind him. And again, there could be a much, much better connection coming in for you at this time. With the King of Pentacles, what do you know? You have the King of Pentacles. Basically the universe saying I meant what I said, focusing on stable energy, focusing on experimentation as well. One thing I said to the other two water signs is the King of Pentacles is good, but he is stuck doing things the way they've always been done. And there's nothing really wrong with that. I think the best thing to do with the King of Pentacles is my 80-20 rule, which is 80% of the time, do what works. 20% of the time, experiment. Look at my channel. I think the numbers speak for themselves. I run 1 billion experiments on this channel every single week. So, again, I'm always experimenting. I'm always playing. I'm always just seeing what's going to happen, right? And that's my 20%, right? For the most part, I do the same thing. I just do readings and record them the same way, right? So 80% of the time, I just do what works. 20% of the time, I'm trying something new. With the Justice card, you have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, again, is about being bold and assertive. I kind of feel, we have the King of Wands, Queen of Wands, King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. So this is good. I think this is one person. I don't think it's two people. But I like that the Wands card show up here because, like I said, especially for Scorpio, I think the King and Queen of Pentacles would be a little bit boring. It would be missing some of that spiciness that Scorpio needs. And so King of Wands, Queen of Wands, definitely spicy. And I feel you could be attracting a spicy person here. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this card. It says, it is time to begin the journey. Yes, literally today. And sorry, I wish this week fell on the 25th, but it didn't. And so, again, you're going to have to get started on whatever you're thinking about. You have this card. It says, pull yourself close. It says, every part of your being is deserving of love. I think a lot of people, a lot of the readings over the past few months have been saying that people really need to believe in themselves more. People have to love themselves more. People have to say they are enough more. And maybe those types of, affirmations or those types of belief systems would be good for you to develop at this time, Scorpio. You have the Lovers, the Two of Cups, and the Queen of Pentacles. Again, clearly, there could be a love connection coming in for you. I said at the beginning of the year, the summertime, even if this person doesn't show up this week, it doesn't matter. The summer is really good, I think, for water signs for love. So I would be putting yourself out there, meeting new people, doing whatever you can to find a new connection if you want it. This card could absolutely say, and the Two of Cups as well, can absolutely say it is time to love yourself more as well. So when we do things that we hate, for example, we are not loving ourselves. When we are staying stuck in situations that aren't going anywhere, we are not loving ourselves. And, those are all things I would think about with these cards, all of them. at this time. The Ace of Cups wants you to create more overflow in your life. The Ace of Cups is something that you can do endlessly. That cup can reach down into the water below it and fill itself back up. So I think we all need to find more fulfillment in life in general, and that's what I would do with the Lovers. You have the Two of Cups. Two of Cups is like a perfect match coming in for you. So I feel that, again, there could be some sort of perfect match. The thing about the Two of Cups is it can be a person who is different than your usual type. And so, there could be some sort of difference here. I even think like people might not understand this, and that's fine. Like, I think you should just totally ignore it. The people that don't understand it. It's like you know what is happening in this situation. So, I think you need to trust your inner guidance on this one. If it is a person, it might just be like, sometimes I think the Two of Cups is like an odd couple, or, it's like there's like some sort of age difference, or, maybe you come from totally different backgrounds, or there's like religious differences or whatever. And, I think you need to listen to what your heart is telling you on this one, especially if you're attracting love. Two of Cups is also you and your higher self. So definitely that card says you need to pull yourself close, and you need to believe that every part of you is deserving of love. And the Two of Cups is like communicating with your higher self and, really loving yourself. So that's what I would do there. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, it's a really good time for water signs for money. And so the Queen of Pentacles can be a card of increasing your resources. King of Pentacles can be increasing your wealth. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and you're going to have to do new things to be able to attract that money, but, definitely an amazing time if you put the work in to do that. One of the things that I really like to focus on with the Queen of Pentacles is multiplication. It's like, how can you get more out of what you are doing? Or how can you, it's like, how can you multiply the things that you are doing, right? I don't really have any good examples other than myself, so I apologize for talking about myself, but like, I have my top secret group, DENT Makers, right? And it's like all the calls that I do with my group, they all get edited and turned into clips, right? I feed them into AI, right, as well. All those clips get put into an AI, and I've built this DENT bot, I call it, and people can ask it questions that are in the group, and it will answer their questions based off of everything that we've done. And so it's like I'm reusing the same thing over and over and over again and multiplying it and getting more out of it. And I kind of feel that's what the Queen of Pentacles is saying. It's like saying, how can you multiply your learning, or how can you multiply the things that you're working on to get more out of them? And again, I would do your research. With the Lovers, you have the World. The World can be an accomplishment or an achievement, so there definitely could be some sort of big accomplishment or an achievement coming in for you at this time. This could also say that, obviously, if you want love, that you have to get out into the world, to find love. And so I would be putting yourself out there with the World card. With the Two of Cups, you have the Six of Cups. Yeah, it could be a very loving, joyful connection. A lot of people read the Six of Cups as the past, but I don't. It is a card of innocence and nostalgia. It can represent thinking about the past, but doesn't necessarily, say a person is coming back from the past. And what I would say here is that, as far as new connections are concerned, the Six of Cups can be a soulmate. So, this could be a really solid new connection. And it feels very, more playful to me. And I think as long as you maintain that playfulness, that things will go very well in this connection. And, that's what I would say there. With the Queen of Pentacles, here you go. You have the Knight of Cups. Yes, definitely some sort of knight in shining armor, Scorpio, for sure. It could literally be any sign. I mean, Earth really stands out to me, fire. You have a little bit of water here as well. So, it could literally be any sign that's coming in for you. But the Knight of Cups is a knight in shining armor, someone who really sweeps you off your feet. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have the Seek Healing card and the Synchronicity card. We're still in an amazing time for healing. We had that eclipse in Virgo a couple months ago, and eclipses last for 6 months. So until September, we are all probably cutting things out that no longer serve us health-wise because of that Virgo eclipse that we had. I think that's part of it. That's not, that's not the only thing that eclipse represents, but it's one thing. So a lot of you could be healing on a deeper level. You have the Strength card, the Ace of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles. The Strength card is about a display of strength. She is putting her hands in this lion's mouth, and this lion is submitting to her. And so this card kind of represents getting your inner voice to submit to you so that you can be successful. And that's what I would be doing with this card, is I would make sure that you are getting your inner voice or your inner critic to submit to you. And if you do that, I think things will go very well with the Strength card. The Strength card is also about like developing your inner strength, which a lot of you could be doing. You have the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups can be your emotions overflowing, being very happy. So I feel like there could be a lot of happiness coming in for you with the Ace of Cups. I also feel, obviously, this could be a really solid love offer that's coming in for you. I feel like something's going to be a lot easier than you think. Like, you know, if you if you admire a person right now, for example, I feel this, like if you start talking to that person or whatever, that it's going to kind of push forward very, very quickly, and it's not going to be very slow. So again, I would make your move. You know, if you're meeting a person, again, I think that this has like a very nice flow to it, and it could move very quickly for you, which is great. You have the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles can represent feeling left out in the cold. Five of Pentacles is about focusing on your strengths, though. Five of Pentacles is also coming up in the good stuff here, Scorpio. So I think that it's time for you to focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. But it's like you are. The other thing is we see a lot of financial improvement in this reading. And so a lot of you could significantly be improving your finances here, just based off of, you know, everything that's coming up, plain and simple. You know, it looks pretty good to me. I think you're improving your finances. With the Strength card, you have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords can represent walking away from things that no longer serve you. So I think a lot of you could be walking away from things that kind of affect your strength with that Strength card. You know, anything that makes you feel weak. You know, and that's kind of the solution to the Five of Pentacles, is that we have to cut the things out that make us feel weak, or make us feel like we can't do something, or, you know, kind of make us feel like we're not strong enough. With the Ace of Cups, you have the Strength card. You know, this could be a person that gives you strength as well. You know, I think if this is a love connection, I think that the two of you, it's like both of you are going to like rise together, which is great. For some of you, this could just be yourself as well with the Two of Cups. So if you don't want love, or if you already have love, by the way, this is amazing, plain and simple. But, you know, whether you have it or not doesn't really matter. I think a lot of you could be developing a lot of your own inner strength. And it's kind of like saying to me that you could really be lifting up. You could really be rising. With the Five of Pentacles, you have here you go. Always in the Scorpio readings, Tower, which is also your card. The good news is it's coming up in the good stuff. So the Tower and the good stuff can say you're finally overcoming a Tower moment, or you are finally releasing some sort of Tower moment that you are having. This could also say that you are rebuilding after a Tower moment, which also would be amazing. Next, you have this Fair Man. It says dealings or relationships with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. You have this Vine. It says seek out information that will help you. A lot of people have been getting these cards of like finding a mentor or a guide or a person that can help you do whatever you're trying to do. So this could be amazing for you to, you know, really kind of like create whatever, you know, it's like finding a mentor. And this doesn't have to be a man. I'm reading for a lot of you, but you know, the information that could help you could be answers from a person who knows more than you, and don't be afraid to reach out. You have this Cobweb. It says protected from negative forces beyond your control. So yeah, it's really interesting to me that a lot of people get these cards of protection. I think there's like a lot going on in the world, obviously, and people could be worried about, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And this card is really saying there's nothing to worry about. You are protected. You have the Star card. It says guaranteed success. You know, obviously, this is kind of a love reading, so if you're attracting love, this could say that it is going to be a successful connection. If you are truly loving yourself as well, with the Lovers, the Two of Cups, and also, you know, this card that says every part of yourself is deserving of love. So if you are really loving yourself, you know, that can also bring in a lot of success. You have this Arrow. It says you are on the right path regarding some aspect of your life. Yeah, the reading is just good and plain and simple. So I feel a lot of you are going in the right direction. We have that Seven of Cups with the Ace of Swords, which is laser-like focus. The arrow is pointing in one direction. So I would make sure that you are pointing in one direction. You have this Tulip. It says great passion. Yes, if you're attracting love, I feel there's going to be a ton of passion in this connection with the King and Queen of Wands. a lot of you could also just be getting back to passion. Like you could be living a life with the Ace of Cups that's more full of passion and doing more things that you're passionate about, which would also be amazing. But this looks pretty good, Scorpio. I like this. So thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.